Welcome to the Traveling Professors. I'm Professor Bob.
And I'm Professor Sheri.
And together we are
the Traveling Professors.
Welcome to show number 95B. I promised you last week that after finishing walking through Pompeii, I'd do a little something on the various tours that are going around showing Pompeii exhibits. So this is a little short one. Now, Sheri and I have been to several of these. We saw one in Italy when we were there visiting Rome and everywhere else. We've seen one here in Kansas City. They've been all over the world. They've been in Boston and New York and other places. There's a brand new one that's out this year in 2023 that's supposed to be really good, and a couple of my friends have seen it. And they usually kind of start out like this. They usually have a general opening with a statue or some little building, and then they will have housewares, glasswares, gold, bronzes, all sorts of things, and ultimately they will then get to the casts of the bodies from Pompeii. So here we are walking into one of the exhibits, and you see they've got the little villa set there with the bronze statue on the inside of it, and you can see the different types of displays that are around it. Here we see one of the glassware and pottery sections. I'd point out that in the far back left-hand side, that is a bowl that you've seen if you watch the whole Archaeological Museum of Naples. Fortunately, it was there when we were visiting, but you'll see the different types of glassware and pottery. Then there's a section on gold. Here we have a nice gold necklace. That's always popular. You can see a little bracelet. But on the left-hand side, you'll see what looks like a bracelet. Here's a closer shot of it. Here's a closer view of it. And it looks like a bracelet. And then you have this display showing weights and measures. And then here's the display showing some of the cookware. They're made out of bronze, made out of tin. And then, of course, lighting. Lighting in your house is important. So lamps are what they're using. So here's a very exotic looking lamp. Beautiful face. Here we have a metal lamp, a bronze lamp with a goose's neck or a duck's neck with head. Here we have some other examples, and there's one with a bull. And then we come to the bronze. Now there's one set with the two dogs that you see here and the backside of the boar. That's from the house of the Pompeii. Here's a close-up of the front of the face of the boar. And then here we have a bronze of a deer and one of the bronzes of the dogs menacing the boar. And since Pompeii had gladiating, they had a whole little display of gladiating things. So here's one of the helmets. I believe this is a succiter. And then this very elaborate helmet. This certainly is not your average gladiator. This is one of the elite that would be coming out later on in the day. And then here we have a very nicely constructed greave to protect the leg. They had a little display where they had a wall mosaic, and they put a cardboard mosaic of a lion, and then you could have your picture taken. So Sheri is here defending herself against the lion, and fortunately she has a shield. Now, we did not go to Herculaneum. We were going to go to Herculaneum, but we didn't have enough time. And in one of the displays that's going around now, a friend of ours had seen it, and they have this display from this building. This is the Villa of the Gold Bracelet. And here is the bracelet that was on display. It's very similar to a silver bracelet that I showed you from the Archaeological Museum in Naples. It's a very popular motif. Here they have 3 mosaics that they were able to take off the walls that were able to be put out on the exhibit. And then ultimately we end up getting to where the bodies are. And this section that you see here, this was actually found in the Villa of the Gold Bracelet. And that's unusual because Herculaneum was destroyed, first of all, by a tremendous pyroclastic flow which basically incinerated everybody. And these people were in a back room, and it killed them immediately, which is what happens. But normally you just turn to ash. So they died, and then, the ash and whatever, the roof probably would collapse, and they were covered up, and they were able to get a plaster cast of them. It's always difficult to view these because even though that's not a real body, it's almost like you've got a picture of their soul. They actually tried using not plaster of Paris like you see here, or other plasters, but to use a clear resin, which would incorporate whatever else was in there. Oh, that is really, really spooky to look through the body. And if there are bones there, it's really spooky. So this one is one that would actually have been on display in one of the rooms that we saw when we were in Pompeii. He was just out visiting. This is one of the bodies that was found there in the Villa of the Gold Bracelet. And then here we have a group of 4 that had passed away. And then this one is probably one of the most famous. You usually see this one frequently. He's trying to get through and he dies there. You know, the Egyptians do a good job displaying their mummies, and most of the time nowadays these body casts are respectfully done. But I remember when they were first sending them around, they just would kind of pile them in an area for you to look at. It's much better now. This is one I have not seen. This is one that a friend of ours sent a picture of from the new display. You see a guy who died trying to climb the stairs, and they have a picture, and I really like this style of display, where you get the picture of what he was in or doing, other than just the body. And so you see there were other people that died on that stairs. And then this one shows an area where the people went down to the harbor to try to get away. And the Romans did send a fleet in. One of their commanders was killed trying to help rescue people. They got some people out, but a lot of these are in the sheds near the harbor. And in this case, this whole group died there, and the shed then collapsed, and they were covered with ash anyway. But some of those, they didn't have anything fall on them, and they find them when they excavate those warehouses, and it's really bizarre. You still have some flesh, and you still have bones, and they're just stacked. It's pretty scary. I decided I'd go ahead and put one of the children in. This is one of the lesser problems with putting the child, because some of them are really very detailed. And it's bad enough to see these people that have passed away like this, but then to see a child like that. So anyway, that's just a little bit of a display that I promised you. And if you ever get a chance to see one of these, please go and see it. It's well worth it. Sheri and I hope you enjoyed the tour. Please come by our YouTube channel at Bob Packett, and please subscribe and leave some comments. Thank you very much. I've been doing podcasting on history for over 15 years. I've got over 4,000 shows, and I've done CDs, which of course can be sent out as USBs. So if you would really like to get more on history for free, then come by my website, as you see here, historyaccordingtobob.com, and see what's there. So thank you very much again.